Hey guys, so today is going to be a little bit of a different video. We're just going to have a nice little chat about Disney. So, as you all know, we're all Disney fans, some more than others, though. And there have been a lot of changes with Disney, some good, some bad, and some things we're simply just missing. So, today's video is going to be about what we miss from Disney. So let's get going. But before we do, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and check out some of our other videos. Leave a card up above to our Disney content playlist, which contains rankings, debates, and a lot of other stuff. So check that out. Also, we do other stuff as well, not just Disney stuff, in case you're not a massive Disney fan or whatever. So have a browse on our channel. But let's get straight into it, into exploring what's missing from Disney. I'll be like detectives. Sorry. Um, One thing I'm missing is the old style animation. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the new animation. Like the amount of detail that we can see, and it looks so beautiful, like the colors. Like just thinking about Strange World and Kanto as well, they looked so stunning. But there's just something just so simple and beautiful from the animation from like The Princess and the Frog, like the hand-drawn animation. It looks really beautiful. And it's a shame that they've dumped that. It's been over 10 years since Princess and the Frog, and since then we've had none of that. And you know, it would be nice like if they brought that back up. I'm not sure for the new Tiana series, which we'll be getting this year, whether that's going to be hand-drawn or not. I'm not sure. I think it is, but
I
I
hope
mean, in
so.
terms of movies and stuff, I think we need to have a bit of a mix. Like, it'd be nice. So that's one of the things I'm missing.
Yeah, I agree because I kind of miss like the watercolors in the background, like Pocahontas or the Lion King style. Like, I miss that kind of animation.
Again, completely on the same page. Obviously, I'm an art student and I absolutely adore the new animation. It's like my favorite thing, seeing all these details and colors behind these amazing films and they're being portrayed in such amazing ways. But having the old, it's just the old details to Disney that
Yeah,
we're kind of missing out on. And that in its own way had its own beauty. It didn't need to be as detailed and gorgeous as it is at the moment because it already had that. And the storyline helped it move along. It didn't need all these colors and everything to help do that. That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the fact that someone actually spent time drawing it and stuff, it's taken a lot of
And
time
effort.
and effort, and
yeah,
it's so unique. Like,
yeah,
it's just amazing.
yeah. I was also gonna say because recently what we watched the if you've seen like Puss in Boots 2, The Lost Witch, you kind of see that animation, but you see how it's all updated. I would just think Disney, you need to do that because I feel like that is what they're missing. If you see it, if it's amazing, and I think Disney needs to do that again. You know?
Yeah. So the second thing I'm missing is the romance. There
Oh,
is I mentioned this in our love at first sight debate, which you guys should check out as well. Um, I get that we're showing that women are strong and they're independent, and I'm all for it. Like, I think it's amazing the steps that Disney has taken since Snow White all the way to where we are at the moment. But there's just something about a love story too. And I love a good rom-com and I love, that sort of stuff. And it's really sad that they've completely dropped it. Like, I don't know why. I think what was the last thing? I think maybe, I mean, I guess Frozen 2, if you're thinking about it, was Frozen 2 probably the last thing? I don't know.
well, the
But
last Disney film
it's,
that I've both loved.
yeah, sort of, yeah.
I mean, Strange World had like a love couple and a few,
Yeah, true. But I just
but
I
you're
just
right. I
feel
think,
like we're
yeah,
missing it, and I think they need to sort of bring that back. Like, I'm not saying that they need to make it like Snow White, like the woman is a damsel in distress or something. I'm just saying
It's a little
there
bit.
can be romance in the modern day and age. and I don't see why that's been completely dropped by Disney. It'd be really good to like have some sort of story idea with that in it.
I agree because I feel like because I do understand like they want to show like more independent women in the Disney franchise, and I think that's great. But I just think like there's gonna come in time in our lives that we're all gonna fall in love, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, if you show kids like a new Disney princess that's gonna have a love interest, not a problem. I think it would be amazing because I think like we all want to feel that chemistry, that love, the love stories we all enjoy watching in from the old classic films. So yeah, I kind of miss that cliche. I mean, it's a very classic old cliche, but it's something we all remember. We all kind of want for ourselves as well.
I agree, surprisingly. But no, I do agree. Even if like I get they're kind of like updating with the times and there's no longer like damsel stress, men protect me, blah blah, all that jazz. But you can still do an amazing love story and rom-com with the woman being strong and independent. It doesn't have to be completely dropped as a whole. Like there are still so many stories you can explore from that. It doesn't need to all be scrapped. And I get trying to keep up with everything and like obviously making it like good for everyone, but they can still do that. They don't have to scrap it completely. But yeah, I completely agree. We are missing our love stories from Disney. There haven't been any in years now, quite literally years. So give us a love story. It doesn't have to be cliche. It doesn't have to be damsel in distress. Change it up.
Yeah.
Give us a strong female princess that saves the prince. I don't know. Give us something.
Yeah, that'd be good. Another thing I'm missing is fairy tales. I feel like I mean I'm liking all these new original ideas. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely loving it. Like seeing Encanto and Strange World and Luca and some other stuff which I've lost the names of. Um, they've stopped doing fairy tales, which is something that Disney start like that is their origins, right? Like Snow White, Pinocchio, Cinderella. I don't know, like the first couple of films, I can't remember all of them, but like we've completely lost that, and there's tons of fairy tales out there, so I'm sure there must be something that they could do another movie on and like base it off of. But yeah, I really would like to see more them doing more fairy tales and stuff, or even sort of adapting it like they did with Frozen or something. Like I'm happy with that as well. But I feel like we should maybe go back to having a few fairy tales as well involved. You know, if they're struggling with coming up with ideas, and fairy tales is a good way of,
Yeah.
going back to it.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, because fairy tale they started basing on fairy tales like Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, all the fairy like they were quite dark like fairy tales, but they made it into a very romantic and beautiful animated films. I missed that, and they were gonna do another one. I think it was called Gigantic or something about like based on Jack and the Beanstalk. So, and I thought, oh, this is great. And then they cancelled it. I'm like, no, because that is what we needed. We needed like more stories. If they're running out of original ideas, base it on fairy tales or maybe folklore. And it doesn't have to be like the Grimm brothers stories. It could be like from anywhere. You could do, I mean, you did some on real life women, Pocahontas, for example. So do some more on like real life people like Cleopatra or maybe somewhere else. Like do some based in Australia or somewhere else in Asia or South America. Just find an actual good story. I'm sorry, I'm getting too passionate in this.
No,
You bring
give
up
us
a
the
really good
passion.
point.
I just
Yeah,
think,
100%.
yeah. I mean, there's so many great stories out there, and they're wasting their time on remakes and wasted opportunities for originals. But yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm completely loving these new stories and all the films that they're currently bringing us. But there is so much content already out there that can bring us back to the original Disney and the Disney we all fell in love with, that they can make other generations fall in love with and bring back old generations with just by looking into it a bit more, a couple more fairy tales, a couple more folklore, a couple more unknown stories of really strong people in our world. Bring them into Disney. What better place to introduce an amazing story and change in the world than to a new generation through something as big as Disney? You know, there's such opportunity there, and they're just not taking it up.
One for me, and I'm not sure if you guys can agree with this, but because in the old classic films, we kind of know the real villain from the beginning, and we know that to the end. You know, like Scar, the Evil Queen, Lady Tremaine, Frollo. I mean, all the ones, and I just feel like, well, I like the big twists in these films. I kind of miss like seeing like the actual bad guy, just like he's like the cunning that you just know they're so evil. The main characters probably don't know, but you just like to see them twisting in the story and just see how it goes. I kind of miss that, just see where it's going to lead on to. Like, do you guys agree, or do you think just?
I remember actually a viewer of ours like did a comment on that and asking me like, do you prefer knowing the villain in advance or whether it's a mystery? I remember that. I'll probably leave a screenshot of somewhere here. So I was trying to say. Yeah, that's a good point. I think you're right. I think I would have liked a bit more of a mix in that. Like there is something about just knowing the villain from the beginning, but there's also something about just not knowing the villain and just thinking, oh my God, who is it? So like a Scooby-Doo sort of thing.
Yeah. And see, if you're doing something like Lion King style, I just think like when we get to know Scar, you just see like you just know he's evil. He just looks evil, and we kind of fall for that. I don't know what to describe. We just always fall for the villain, and yeah. My next point is that it links to villains, and I just think villains need to get their own songs again, because I feel like we haven't had a villain song in ages. Like the last one I listened to was like Ursula's song, Dr. Facilier, or I mean, they had their own great songs, and I feel like all the villains we know so far, like there was no villain in Encanto. Well, it depends on your view on Encanto. Frozen 2 or Strange World. Like there was no, like I feel like there's great music in all these Disney films, but I feel like we're missing the villain creep eerie song. I think that kind of sparks it up. Could you imagine a Lion King without Be Prepared?
Yeah, that would.
No. We need more of that. We need more of that dark songs.
I feel like we're doing a protest.
Give us it back.
No, I agree. Like that was actually what made Disenchanted stand out to me. Like having that villain song in there, Badder. Like that is what made me like, wow, this is like amazing. We finally got a villain song after all this time. So yeah, you're right. That's a really good one as well. Yeah, Grace has literally got some really good ones.
She's on the roll. She's definitely thought this though. But yeah, I feel like villain songs just hit different, They just have such
so catchy
power behind them. They're so catchy. They probably thought out.
It's like Mother Knows Best.
Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, they're definitely ones to add to a playlist.
Another point is that I feel like we're doing lack of like final battles in films. Like don't get to see like the huge fights against with good versus evil. Like again, you see in the like Lion King, the lions versus hyenas, or Peter Pan versus Captain Hook, or Prince Philip versus the dragon. I mean, there's not much of that anymore. I mean, I feel like just because again, we don't see much of big villains in these films anymore. I feel like we don't see much of like big fights anymore too.
Yeah. It's, the whole Disney like storylines and stuff, they've really changed a lot.
Mhm.
Like you were saying at the beginning, like with the villains and stuff, like there aren't really like villains in the recent stuff.
It's
Yeah.
almost kind of been muted or like censored, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean. Like, I
Yeah.
get kind of we need to be more wary and stuff, but also it's a villain in a kid's film. Okay, let us have our big dramatic flair of a villain with
Yeah.
their cape and their sidekick. Let us have that. Let them sing their song that's gonna get stuck in all of our heads. Let us have that big fight at the end. Like, it brings up so much tension, and we're missing that from so many of the new films. And just the anticipation of like this massive big ending that just doesn't always
Yeah.
happen anymore.
Mm. I got just two more points, and one of them is I feel like we don't have many much talking animals in Disney films. Because like when I think of talking animals, I just think the animals from the Jungle Book, Lion King, Jack and Gus or Flounder. I mean, I just feel like they had their own character. And while I love some of the cute ones we get to see in some recent films, like that big Amadurmo
Oh,
from Raya.
Armadillo, yeah.
Yeah. And the cute dog from Strange World. I just feel like I miss the talking animals because they had their own characters. Even Mushu, I mean, he's not animal, but he's a dragon. But he had his own character and kind of like that.
There was so much
Yeah.
development behind those characters, and they were very unique in every single way. None of them like resemble anything. They're all such their like own person. We're definitely missing that out in current films. Like, we've obviously got our own characters and stuff, but there's no sidekicks like them, you know?
Yeah.
Mm,
Like you need someone to stand out. Like you said, Mushu stands out. Iago stands out.
Completely.
Like we need those characters back.
mm,
Something like that anyway.
yeah. And this leads to my last point. We need to give more sidekicks their moments because,
Yeah.
like, we see like the genie, he has his own moments, like a few like the songs and the impressions, and then we've got like Mushu just talk like he's kind of like Mulan's like guidance and everything, and Sebastian with his like musical songs like Kiss the Girl and all that. I feel like as much as we give credit to the main characters and like independence in the female characters, feel like the sidekicks don't get much credit as they used to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I think this
Completely
whole
agree.
idea of sidekicks, like if you were to ask me who are some of the sidekicks from the last 2 years, I don't think I would be able to name you that many names.
Yeah.
None that completely stand out either, like off the top of my
Mm.
head, just from that question. There's none that are like, oh, this person, you know? I
Mm.
mean, the first one that came to mind was Olaf, and that was like years ago. So,
Thank you guys for watching, whoever is watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And before you leave, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts on what Disney is missing. Do you agree with our statements? Should Disney continue with the cliche of like love, romance, or should we be introduced to the actual bad guy in the beginning? Let us know. Or if you have any ideas, please tell us. We'll be very interested in reading them. And check out other videos, like Emily said in the beginning, our reactions, review videos on Disney, Marvel, and other stuff. Check out our games and pranks. We've done a whole lot of them. And follow us on our Instagram and Twitter accounts. We will follow you back. That's a promise. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.